Well, hey team, season's greetings. Welcome back to the channel. We aren't doing any traveling today, full disclosure. With this video, I just want to run through some, I made a few edits on this Marine Corps retirement planning ebook that I made way back when we were still, I say way back like last year, when we were still living in Okinawa, and that was our last duty station. But as I was going through the Skill Bridge program, I got to thinking about some things, and there weren't any like guidebooks or helpful tidbits that I could find anywhere besides going to this monthly retirement planning luncheon there on Camp Courtney, helping me out, getting the wheels spinning and getting moving and grooving towards retirement. So I thought I'd sit down and just type up a quick little ebook on how to do so. And I've edited this thing 3 or 4 times, and I've had it on some free websites. And I even had it over on KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, for like $1. And it might have even been like $2.99 at one point in time. And I think a buddy or two of mine bought it. But it wasn't getting a lot of traffic on KDP, and I'd pulled it down and put it on some free websites. And I can't remember what those were, but it was on Barnes & Noble, and it was on a few other places. But I reeled it back from all those places and did some formatting changes and some edits on it. Just to make it more concise. So no table of contents or any weirdness, not a lot of graphics in here, but a lot of links that do actually work, and a lot of actual factual stuff that helped me out, and some Marine Corps forms and publications and things of that nature that'll help you get started. So without further ado, I just wanted to kind of walk through this thing, and hope you're enjoying my good Bunnings hat from Australia. I picked this up down while I was doing Murph D, and that was probably the last cool thing that I did in the Marine Corps. But anyway, cheers. Let's take a stroll through this thing, and I won't read this verbatim because that would really just be too Marine Corps. But what I will do is give you just a quick kind of synopsis of what I'm doing on every page. And then we'll click and go through some of the links just to show you that they work. And then too long didn't read the old TLDR. The link for the ebook will be down in the description below. So just click that bad boy, and it'll download you a PDF of this thing, or at least it'll pull it up on your phone, tablet, computer, whatever you're on. If you're on a TV, that's probably a little bit weird, but you can probably still get the link to work if you have one of those web browser apps embedded in your TV, or installed rather. So yeah, Marine Corps retirement, navigating the application process and more. And this is the May 2026 edition because I went through and deleted a few things and added a few things. So first couple of pages here, we're just looking at a fellow bellow woodman named Master Sergeant Balding. And the example that I looked for a retirement pension was using the high 3, not blended retirement or anything like that, because I think this is more geared towards high 3 folks. I don't think any BRS folks are getting ready to retire just yet. Maybe they are, I don't know. But this is just looking at high 3, and if you go to this first link here, this is just going to take you to a DFAST pay tables, which is where I got the table there. But just to kind of show you that it works, let's mess around and see. Oh, bickety bam, there it is. Yep, effective January 1, 2026. Okay, so you can see that all the links in here actually work. And there's one that doesn't, but in that case, you just copy and paste that bad boy. But that's all we're doing is looking at some high 3 stuff here, looking at some tax brackets. Married filing jointly is the example that I went with here, but if that doesn't suit your case, just click the link right here above it, and that'll take you to the actual factual IRS.gov website. And biggity bam, you can kind of roll through your own tax brackets there. Did you retire and you plan on working again? What's your ballpark estimate for take home or pre-tax? And then you can kind of figure out how much you need to set aside for withholding every year. So sorry if my camera's shaking a little bit. I've got my GoPro, which I'm gonna try to stabilize this thing. I don't really use it a whole lot anymore, to be honest. I just been using my phone a lot. Anyway, this works. Married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household. Biggity bam. Let's jump back into the ebook here. Let's see. mypay.dfast.mil. Does that one work? I don't think this one works, but if you just copy and paste that, that's probably the simplest link in this whole book. I'm just going to tap my screen here to make sure we're still rolling. We are. I'm not a pro with this thing yet. I usually just point and shoot with my phone and stroll around town. I'm looking at the High 3 calculator here, and this is militarypay.defense.gov. This calculator has grown quite a bit, and it's pretty darn effective now. But that works, and I'm not going to run through it because I think you all need to do that. If you need a really good application, whether or not you have, whether you've got an Android or an Apple, click this bad boy right here. This is from Linfield LLC, Military Retirement, and it's got the funky red, white, and blue umbrella over here on the right. This is a good app. You can plug so many variables into this app. It's amazing. You can plug in your health insurance, whatever TRICARE you've got. If you've got VGLI, plug that bad boy in. If you've got SBP, plug that bad boy in. If none of these variables are making sense to you, this ain't that video. I need you to kind of start looking into these things, and it's Survivor's Benefit Plan and VGLI's Veterans Group Life Insurance, which is a bad deal. But that's a good app right there. Get that app. You can plug in state taxes, federal taxes, and it's gonna, if your state exempts your military pension from taxation, hey biggity bam, it knows that already. And then federal, it's gonna give you a pretty accurate figure for what you need to be withholding every month. Pretty good stuff. So yeah, go through Master Sergeant Bob Balding's situation here, and it'll break that down for you. The Appendix J. The Appendix J is what you're going to print out, and that comes from Marine Corps Order 1900.162. But this right here, the Appendix J itself, is in the appendices, and Juliet is the one you need to look at. But you're going to print that bad boy out, and there's a printable or a fillable PDF right here. I linked it for you, as well as the Marine Corps order. So click that bad boy. There you go. Download that PDF. You got the whole Marine Corps order right there with change 3, not 2. Okay, all right. So that's current as of 28 May 2025. Okay, well, so last year, but that's still the current version. Let's hop back into the ebook. And then you decide you just need a fillable version of the Appendix J. Let's click on this bad boy. And I don't think my cursor is showing up on my screen recording, but I'm just going to click this Appendix J link. And it's going to take you, okay, it opens right up. Some of these PDFs won't open up, and you'll have to just figure out how to download the file from your browser. But this one actually opens right up, and it's a 4-page document. And this is basically you communicating to your commander when and why you want to retire. Talks about terminal leave, talks about retired pay computation, all that good stuff. But don't try to fill this out in the browser unless your browser lets you. But you can download this, and it's just a fillable PDF. Again, sign that bad boy, submit it through your S1, and that gets the ball rolling. Do you need a waiver? You may have obligated service incurred from going to a school like WTI or AXOC, EWS. You may have obligated service incurred from taking a promotion, like say if you took major. I think the good gouge on the street these days is if you promote to major, and that was the last rank that I had, that you owe 3 years to the Marine Corps before you can get out. But like all things in the Marine Corps, there's a waiver, right? Wouldn't make waivers if they didn't approve them. Transfer of education benefits is a big one. So I transferred my post 9/11 GI Bill, or what little I had left, over to our son, and he's using it right now in college. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. Empty nesters, and we got a dude in Japan going to school for just about Free.99. If you do need a waiver, here's this beautiful AA form in here, and that's not my real name, but that's pretty close to it. And That's my real MOS. And that should get you started. Work with your S1 or your admin folks and get a good AA form and a good format. And then put your own initials up here. So once I made this stuff and I got my retirement package approved, I pushed this out to like the 3MEF command element, and you'd be surprised how many colonels and folks were routing their retirement packages through the headquarters company office, and they hadn't even bothered to take my initials out, and those aren't my real initials, but again, pretty close to it. But they hadn't even taken out, I'm talking gunnies, master sergeants, master gunnery sergeants, all the way up, lieutenant colonels and colonels that were retiring, and didn't bother to take out my initials. They just thought that stayed up there. But so saw quite a few of those, and some of them probably got approved with my initials on there. So that's cool. So your Appendix J gets approved, and now biggity bam, you've got a date established in Marine Online. Look in your BIR, and it's going to be all the way at the bottom. That's going to be that bottom section in your BIR is going to be your retirement information. And so when I applied, I want to say within about a week and a half, 2 weeks, my flag changed in there from like 6 to 7 or something to that effect to say request received, and then it changed to request pending, I think, and then very shortly after it changed to request approved. I think all of that happened within the span of about 2 weeks, and I think the saying is your mileage may vary, but yeah, 2 weeks is about what it took, and I was over 2 years out from my requested date, which they've changed now, so just keep that in mind. This right here is just talking about some life insurance, and let's go down here and look at the va.gov life insurance. And so this will be your VGLI, like I was talking about, your Veterans Group Life Insurance. Am I eligible? You probably are. But what I wanted to point out here is, so I think the bulk of folks retiring are probably going to be in this like 40 to 44 age bracket. And if you're not, that's cool. If you're one of those cats that came in at 17 like I did, you might be like 37 getting out with a pension and may or may not have to work again. Kudos to you if that's you. But I got out and had some broken time, and then I came back in. But $500,000 worth of coverage is all the VGLI is going to cover you for. That's the maximum amount. And so $70 a month, that's a pretty good deal, right? But let's take a gander at, I've done this in a video a long time ago. Let's jump into our like latter half of our 50s. It jumps up to $250 a month. And so you might be thinking, you know, that's not terrible, but it's also not great considering that, you know, you can get like $1 million worth of coverage through another, like a private company, and it be roughly half that price. So just shop around, not supporting, you know, or advertising for Navy Mutual here or anything, but you can get a pretty good deal over there. Let's look at it in your 60s though. $425 a month. Now certainly as you get older, you can kind of tailor these plans down to where maybe you only want like $200,000 worth of coverage, but it's still $276 a month. And you're old at that point. I mean, I don't know what maybe you spent all your money. I don't know if you got a surplus. When you get into your 70s though, that $500,000 worth of coverage for your family is going to cost you essentially a mortgage. Now, I don't live in America. I haven't lived in America in 7 years. I don't know that I ever will again, to be honest with you. But $1,000 and $75, $1,075. Yeah, I don't know. We bought a house in Mississippi when I was going through the MESEP program. That's a bit of a redundancy, right? MESEP program, the Marine Corps Enlisted Commissioning Education Program. When I was going through the MECI program, when I was going through the MESEP to get commissioned in the Marine Corps, we bought a house down in Mississippi, and I think our mortgage was like, I don't know if it was $1,000. I think it's probably $1,000 a month, but I mean, homes are a lot more expensive nowadays, but I mean, $1,000, that's kind of terrible. I don't know. 75 to 79, probably getting close to croaking around this time frame. Sorry. almost $2,000 to get that same coverage. Long story short, shop around. If you have some medical issues that like preclude you from getting your own private term life insurance policy, so be it. But that's kind of my spiel on that. The DD Form 2656. This is what establishes your retirement pay, and it does some other things too. But let's see if we can take a gander at that. The IPAC that I don't think they call them IPACs anymore. I think they call them CPACs. IPAC, CPAC. But that's going to be like your administrative powerhouse. So in Okinawa, it was on Camp Foster, and those folks in there, that is all they do, all day long, all day strong. I've been running for almost 16 minutes, so I'm going to shut up pretty soon. But if you pull up that form, it's going to ask me to download it. I'm going to throw that bad boy in downloads. Let's go take a gander at it. Okay, this is one of those ones that's not going to open right there in the browser, so let's go over here to, here it is. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, and it's still not opening. Did I jinx myself? That's the 2022 edition. Maybe I jumped the gun and I made this video too quick. I'm gonna see. You might have to fill this out through like an online wizard or something. Great. Now this ebook sucks and no one's gonna download it. That's okay, I don't care if you do or not, but I think it's got some good gouge in it. But that DD Form 2656 is gonna have, what state are you from, and I think it has some withholding information in there. I still had to get on MyPay and adjust my federal withholding. A lot of folks forget to do that after they retire, and then you owe Uncle Sam at the end of the year. And man, some folks are heartbroken when they get hit with that because they ain't been withholding. And I'm trying to think what my withholding is. I think it's 600 something. Is it that much? 600 something a month? It's quite a bit. We're all going to be like in that 12% bracket at retirement, so just know that. She's a good one. All right, let's jump back in. 2656. Yeah, I got to figure out why that's. Maybe it's just my computer that won't open that. I don't have Adobe on here. I've got something else. I'm on Linux. Anywho, I just still have like 2 blank pages in here, so you can, if you print this bad boy, you can use that for scribbling or whatever. But medical tips and good ideas. This is just a quick little Excel sheet that I made with 4 columns and maybe 10 or more rows, depending on how many medical issues you want to put on there. But start this early. If you're a year out from your retirement and you haven't been going to medical to get things documented that you expect to have covered after you retire, you're going to want to start documenting things. And I just kept like a running tally on this little Excel sheet that I made of like what's ailing me right now, what have I had in the past, what have I been seen for, what's hurting right now, and what are some other things that I still need to get looked at, and just make sure it's all documented. So in like that first column, what's the issue? Flat foot, bilateral. I got foot, ankle, knee issues. It's all on there. Knee instability. It's all on there. Move over to column B. Is it documented? Is it no kidding in your record? Column C. How does the ECFR? And so this is how the federal government, that's a regulation that looks at how they apply disability to different problems you may have, and they'll have certain codes in there for it, and some of this might have changed up a bit, but I would advise you to just go kind of peruse their website too. And then over on the far right, say call it column D, and you may have 5-6 columns, it doesn't really matter. But over there on the far right, I just had my notes and like, what do I still need to get looked at? Is this ongoing? And yeah. And then right here, overlay of the human body was kind of what led me to creating the Excel but basically just print out one of these. And I was gonna say this won't open because I'm trying to talk to you about it. let's see if I can get one of these to, so look at this guy right here. And just go head all the way to toe. You get tinnitus, bam. Mark that near your ear holes right here. If you've been shooting missiles and heavy weapons for 20 plus years, you know, TBI is probably something you need to be thinking about. Jot that down. Shoulders, elbows, wrists. Do you have some heart issues? You got any breathing issues? Anything mental maybe you want to throw up here, but go head to toe or vice versa and just kind of jot down the things that are bothering you, and then that's going to kind of guide you when you get on that little Excel sheet to better remind you and be a guide for like what you need to capture. Just things to think about when you do your BDD. Benefits delivery at discharge, biggity bam, look at that. So you want to do this and you don't want to do a fully developed claim, but if you want to do the benefits delivery at discharge, I mean, you may only be waiting a month out of retirement to be getting your first paycheck if you're going to be getting anything for any kind of disability. So do the BDD and it's all done, but the absolute cutoff for getting the BDD done is 90 days before your EAS or your retirement date. The earliest that you can submit that is 180 days out. So if that 6 months out opens the window and 90 days out closes it, then probably somewhere like close to a year out, maybe you need to be chatting with I didn't chat with a VSO when I was on Okinawa. I just used the benefits advisors, the VBAs, Veterans Benefits Advisors, and there was a team over on Camp Foster. I'm pretty sure they're still there. If they're not, that sucks. But those guys were really, really helpful and really just down to earth. And you can walk in and talk to those folks, and they'll send some emails to some people that they need to, because your BDD applications, if you're submitting them from Okinawa, have to go through Korea. And so they'll kind of lay the groundwork, because there's all this weird like admin stuff that has to take place. But they'll lay the groundwork with the folks in Korea and kind of get you sorted. But use those folks. Benefits delivery discharge. This just kind of walks you through what the BDD is, because I keep talking about it so much. Oh, if you're eligible, let's see. To be eligible, you know your separation date, you file your claim between 180 and 90 days, and you provide a copy of your service treatment records for the current period of service. Yeah, just, again, make sure all your stuff's documented. Separation health assessment, make sure you get that done. And then just make sure you're available once you file that thing, because you're going to have to go through a number of appointments just so they can make sure that what you're talking about is actual factual, and then the doctors can kind of work that when they send all that to the VA. This last little bit, I've been rambling for 23 minutes. This is ridiculous. But just talking about timelines, sorry I talked this long, but I think that gave you plenty of time if you needed to actually mute me so I can shut my face and you can actually read the material that's on the screen. But this is just talking about timelines and how to set that up. And I made a separate video, and I guess I'll add that as like a closeout screen about what I did for making a timeline. But you got to start early, man. Like a year out. What are the things that are happening? You got a bunch of phase lines that are going to be hitting, and if you ain't got the things done that you need to have before you hit, get your prerequisites done before that next line of departure, you might miss something and it'll slow you down. But nothing real crazy, not a POA&M. I know a lot of us are doing staff work and whatnot as we're captains, majors, and then up higher in the enlisted ranks too. But yeah. Cheers. Yeah. And then in thinking about your own little, how do I escape from the Marine Corps? But also think about the big wickets that your family is going to be knocking out along the way too. High school graduations, transferring this school to that school, moving from Okinawa to Mississippi, or California to Arkansas, or whatever. There's so much crap that you got to put on that timeline, and you got to have a plan for it. So, yeah. Keep things gradual and focused, not chaotic. So many people just go chaotic when they're getting ready to get out because they didn't have a plan. They didn't save any money. They're using their government travel charge card while while they're on terminal leave. And then I'm getting phone calls about it because, Master Sergeant such and such from the intelligence section didn't have the intelligence to know that he or she shouldn't have been using their damn government travel charge card. So there's something to think about too. And then, this ebook's just a fluid document. I'll get in here and update this thing probably 2-3 times a year maybe. And as anything changes, I still look at more admins and stuff. I still look at the retirement manual to see if things have changed, because I like for this thing to be as accurate as it can. And I know that one damn link didn't work, so that's kind of bothering me. But you guys see if you can, action right and get around that and find you a good DD form 2656, because you'll need it. And if you want to decline your SBP, you'll have to do it with your spouse and in front of a witness. So we just went to the legal services place there on Okinawa on Camp Foster, and I was just like, I'm declining this SBP because I don't think it's a good deal, and I already have life insurance, so why do I need to be spending more money on something that's not a good deal? And they were like, wow, that's a good way to look at things. Stamp, notary, here you go, biggity bam, off to the races. And then I just put that right back in my package, and so when it was time to go sit down with the iPack and submit all my stuff, they already had that. So cheers gang, I think that's gonna wrap it up, and here's a little bit about me that you don't care about at the end. And but if you want to download the ebook, click the link in the description, take a gander at it, print it out if you want to. It is Free.99. And if you're in Okinawa, we had on Microsoft Teams, I would assume everyone still uses Teams because that Microsoft suite I don't think is going away. But on our Microsoft Teams back in Okinawa, we had a channel for retirement planning, and it was all kind of centered on the monthly retirement planning luncheon that we had, which Jared Lauren was putting on, which was phenomenal. That dude's a superhuman, man. If you're out there watching this, I love you. I appreciate you. But that's good if you can get together with a cohort of folks that are all plotting and scheming on retirement, and maybe bring in some folks from the stands that have already retired a year or maybe even more beforehand, and talk about what they did wrong, what they wish they'd have done different. And you'll have VA reps there, and you'll have damn Marine Corps Community Services folks there that kind of manage skill bridge things, and and you might even have some iPad gurus come into the discussions too. So lots of good stuff. If you're a year out, start going to some of those luncheons or something like that. If you're on Okinawa, hopefully they're still happening. But if you're on Pendleton, Lejeune, Cherry Point, New River, no matter where you're at, look up something like that. And if there's nothing available, maybe that's a key for you to create something like that and get after it. But okay, this is turning into a half-hour video, and that was not my intent. I'm gonna shut my face and have a beer. Cheers, take care, I appreciate y'all coming along. See you later, bye.